oceans inside us. If these oceans inside us are us, do they get to define us? Do emotions make us? Does the past create us? Are we a jagged ripple cast across the sea before washing up upon the shore, a story told, begging to be seen? Mother Mermaid sings to me. She sang my name, ever so faintly, almost enough to ignore, just loud enough to excite, clear enough to remember, vividly. Water over the bridge. Children of the forgotten stream. I wish childhood could have been easier. It was an upstream swim. Us three kids, different daddies in our DNA, didn't give them a chance to walk away, mama just choosing to do it her own way. It could have been more comfortable. Public housing, disconnection notices, eviction. Could have had more structure. Different schools. New faces, new states, new friends, no friends. It could have been colored brighter, neat and sharpened Crayolas, crisp new folders, Lisa Frank, instead of chaos and disarray. Recorrecting new adults as they mispronounce my name, it said like Ayjshane. Wish it could have been attentive mother, proactive father. It could have been different. Daughter of the brine. They say children of the fatherless will try to love regardless, and a child will look for their mother in whomever they can find her. A girl is 11 and wakes up on a school day to her mother's refusal, her hair a tight afro forced into a sorry excuse for straight, her hands never tasked with her unruly thickness before. A black teacher steps in to brush out the mess and neglect in front of her. A girl is 14, wishing to grow up faster. A girl is 16, raising herself. A girl is 18 in a stranger's lap, being patted on the ass, chasing those who can't love her back. Outreached arms and mouth wide, a wound ready for another to fill what's hollowed inside. Those born in the brine, soaked in water and salt, soured and bittered among the grainy bits at the bottom of the jar, have nowhere else to swim but up. Smoked. Keen on chasing smoke and love that don't want to love in return or don't want to be loved by me anyways. In chase of the constant burn. I'm embarrassed of the way I've chased women and men time and again, while they say I must have stayed for the attention, so sure I flatter myself. And they wanted my friendship and platonic companion. But my abandon deceives. Hand can't ever seem to hold, while fingers trace the outline of smoke's sleeve. Witch hazel like water. I used to feel burdened when I was stripping, a misfit with determination, heavy with social anxiety and inner frustration. I felt unclean. The club is inherently dirty, The men, the laps, the unwashed hands, the work pants, the conversations, sexism and sexual racism, the ones, the stage, the floor, the chairs, offers of coke and VIP, lined with lies and cheat, grope and grab, all on bare ass and lots of skin, a fragile poet heart in one hand, a lack of support in the other. I didn't need others to make me feel dirty, but they did. Before sex work was trending, before OnlyFans and money over tricks was anthem, an old trick for breakouts on overtly exposed skin is to put a little witch hazel on it. If still unclean, douse in rubbing alcohol, scrub, let it sting, then let it sink in. Rinse, repeat. Try when you get home to drown it out, to let it go, to make yourself clean again. Selfish human beings. There is a human willingness fatigue among us selfish human beings. We can see it clear as day, but our future is opaque. Caught up in our own day to day, do we consider how our grandbabies, our babies, we will manage the heat, the plastic seas, mass migration, destabilization as the resources drain? What is our fate? Air, earth, animal, and ocean deep. We breathe in and out our own disaster so lightly, a constant but dulled ache. So when she sang her song to me, when I heard her, the sea, calling my name, Ayjshane, and although faint, it was her I selfishly wanted all of my human heaviness to embrace. Just around the river bend. A river's loyalty. I asked the river to take me to the ocean, and she did as I requested. She always steadily invested in me. I followed the smell of her water, lured in by the chance to make myself clean. The bay's banks, when river meets ocean and dreams forgotten meet reality. Ecosystem. There's an ecosystem teeming with life inside me. Even despite me, life will crawl in where it can. Bathe myself in her waters. Muck. People have mistaken mudflats for wastelands. They have mistaken us both deeply. Sinking, breath still, silent, heavy, an anchor. I was a stone in mud that day. In time, the tides change. I waited impatiently, but I waited all the same. I sank a bit every hour, but I waited all the same. I met a little crab whilst I did wait. He was cute, but it was with me he had a huge distaste. Said us humans were the worst of them all. Waist deep in mud and too heavy to move. I shook my head and agreed. It was the truth. What else was there to do? The wave returns. At high tide, he found me. My chin waiting in the ever-rising tide's pool. Encroaching waters crashed into my chest. Breastbone pushed into my own surrender when I try to catch my breath. When waves return, waves Return. I hum the blues, feel a small bass reverberate next to my breath. I was open to receive all that I thought I deserved. Stained by my patterned past, I came to her to take the pain away, because when the wave returns, and she'll wash it all away. Gloomy Sunday. If she chooses me, I won't cry, wail, nor complain. I hummed a smooth tune of Sunday's gloom I heard from Billie Holiday. When I saw him, he screamed out, "Please, don't move. I'm on my way." The fisherman and his mudsledge. He was taller than I needed him to be. My forehead met him at his waist. He was frantic and hasty in his efforts to save me. It's funny because no one needed to be saved. Still, I wanted him to stay. Backpack full of clams, he left his mudsledge with the remainder of his catch at the edge of the bay's bank. He had a working man's hands, the kind I've always liked. Felt safe when he cradled my face. So I told him my tale of how the ocean called me by name. Into the ocean ended all. Eyes on her wave. He cared more than I could actually believe, his eyes pleading with me to stay. The sin I had born deep within instinctively knew paradise wasn't ours anyways. Humanity, that inside of me, that survivalist in my DNA, didn't want to part ways. Mind afraid, legs weak with ache, heart wanting his calloused palms, flesh, grit, and marrow of my bone craving the earth's grain. My spirit felt her near. Without my conscious volunteer, my lips traced the air to persuade. Same lips told fisherman he and I must go our own way. He thought it over and disagreed, aware as a man retired from the sea. He nodded his head with a trust I hadn't seen, swam back to his muddy banks to wait. He looked to me, my chest to the sea, my eyes on her wave. Drowning. I drowned once, drank in every drop, every bay, every river, and lakeside view, swallowed everything I did, everything he did too, took in all our sorrows, gulped them up just like mistake. Then I sank. Underwater. At first, I couldn't breathe, could only swallow the salt of her. Water filled up every square inch of my stomach, spilled backwards when it burst open my mouth, calling out. No air could find me, the surface above me. Breathless I remained when I tried in vain to shout. Reversal. I dreamt I was ashore, holy, with papaya wrapped like babies in baskets, with honey to offer. Wish I did it properly, but I am a shadow of unprepared and a little too late. Yemaya, I found the goddess in the light of the coral reef, with butterfly fish making nest inside her braids, smiling at the patient, dull-eyed shark as he waits till nightfall to strike his prey. She sings to the seagrass, the tale of how she birthed us all, and how we learned to swim first in her womb. When she turned her ear to listen, she heard the pale coral moan of her worries and wounds. Yemaya had no words for the selfishness of her children above. She could only surround her with love, in the way the matron of water can engulf her young ones. Her mane black and skin like Mother Earth, clownfish swam round like ornament in her braids, reaching me when she sang, her voice tuned to my name, tight against her skin. I took her in. Her dark eyes stayed while everything else gave in. Still waters run deep. Black as serenity. Beauty has to be the beginning. When we were at peace, beings at peace have to be the most beautiful. Before it was new, bright, and chaos, it was black and holy and still. Beauty has to be the beginning, and it has to be black. She brightened my eyes so I could see illuminated fish float, silent, suspended, in conservation of energy. Without the music of the sun's rays, life has succumbed to a slow drift of a swim. Plankton, like specks of twinkling stars waiting unwittingly for their end, felt like a long ways away from the hum of the reef. Dark water canyons, miles and miles of open down in the deep. Sea floor spreading to infinity, life down here comes sparingly. I could see myself floating till my skin turned to papery, drifting in darkness forever, till I remember who I am, and in a moment, I flash before my own eyes. The depths of death. I ponder my mortality, how I might surrender to my own life when it's time. How will I meet death's eyes? My brother, 21, full of future, died in cancer's hands, unexpected, fast. Went into the hospital one day, it was his last. He was brave. He was angry. He was afraid, yet unafraid, to stare into the dark pool of death's gaze. I've never been brave like him. I won't fight a foul-mouthed assailant on a whim. I've never broken a bone or escaped juvie or wore all my heart on one sleeve, not like he did. When death comes to me, I want to walk into that surrender and find my brother again, take his hand, go deep into that dark ocean, never to look back to surface. The sea's prophecy. She must have grown sick of me, drinking up all her ocean, disturbing her darkness, mixing my tears in her salt waters. She held a mirror to me, and I didn't like how I looked. I could still see my too high hairline, my crooked tooth and wrinkled brow, my short, kinky twists never laying the way they should. I looked away, unimpressed. She howled, and I swear the moon heard. How dare you insult me? See only the flaw in me. Who do you think you are? Lady lost in sea, woman lost in me. Who do you think you are? Think you can undermine the sea? I looked to her. She looked to me. She disappeared. And all that was left was me. Waters cycle. Our ocean. I asked the ocean to read my palm. I was desperate and confused. After a long moment of nothing, followed by silence, an eon passed, palm spread out, and getting the hint, I looked up into the darkness, became close to the cold and emptiness. Dark waters full of my own worries. Then nothing. Then nothing. With nowhere else to run. No one else to ask. I started to wonder what I punished myself for. Not making it big. Or having all the right looks. For an absent, avoidant dad or a flighty, manic mother. For the death of my baby brother. The loss of my childhood. My sexual exploitation. For chasing love, acceptance, money. Hardships and cycles of rejection, the pregnancy loss, not feeling enough, taking the disrespect, and not speaking up. Shame I've been holding on to since before I was made. I pulled it out of my chest. It snatched back at me to retaliate. These wounds are a part of you. These emotions make you. These memories shaped you. These triggers take you back to what you know. I struggled for my life. And buried it in the sand below. Said my goodbyes, my see you later, my au revoirs and salutes. I kicked my feet to current, palm to ocean, ocean to palm, palm to ocean, again and again, until I resurfaced. Inside us. You, me, us, them, they, we be all the same, composed of the same Big Bang. In this ocean of myself, reflection of my inner secrets and inner wealth. How my sea must be as deep and as vast as hers and yours. If you tell me your story and I hear the poems of your soul, if you invite me to lay on your ocean floor, witness you sink in sorrows your own. If I reach out to him, will it lead me back to knowing myself? If I open my heart to them, will their heart peak open back? Our horizon sky, ocean in my womb, reflected in her womb too. It must be because you, me, us, them, they, we must be all the same. This ocean inside me is in you, and she calls your name. Surface. Before I broke through, I heard her singing happily, so I sang my name back, but in my own tune. Every syllable stretched out, Ayjshane, felt my own richness in my mouth. Behind me, the dark beauty, still waters of the ocean deep, salty brine and every wonder in her keep. I could see my baggage unearth itself, my afflictions following me from a distance. But this time, I tried to pay them little attention.